Welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank y'all for joining me again tonight as we go through into today's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. This, of course, will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading, as this will be the first time that I hear it or read it right here on the podcast with y'all. So I'm looking forward to it. This is always a highlight of my night, and I'm interested to see where today brings us and how November is going to end. I mean, it's been the last line of yesterday's really just resonated with me. Maybe it was with my ego. I don't believe so, though, just because it's just a great thing to embody, being strong and godlike, to be able to hold your composure and be steadfast in all of the challenges and the highs and the lows of life is just such an awesome goal to have. And it's what I strive to be, really. That's the ideal I seek. So, all right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and do November 27th reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. Purification is effected by thoughtful care, earnest meditation, and holy aspiration. True strength and power and usefulness are born of self-purification, for the lower animal forces are not lost, but are transmuted into intellectual and spiritual energy. The pure life, pure in thought and deed, is a life of conservation of energy. The impure life, even should the impurity not extend beyond thought, is a life of dissipation of energy. Pure man is more capable and therefore more fit to succeed in his plans and to accomplish his purposes than the impure. Where the impure man fails, the pure man will step in and be victorious because he directs his energies with a calmer mind and greater definiteness and strength of purpose. With a growth in purity, all the elements which constitute a strong and virtuous manhood are developed. That's a great thing. Kind of gives you some guidelines as to show you what you're actually practicing, right? Talks about the pure life, the impure life, and the contrast between the two. And I still need these types of readings and these types of descriptions and characteristics for me to actually hold myself to be accountable, because I can really allow myself to just run wild and think I'm doing fine and think I'm doing this and think I'm doing that. And reality is my ego's taking over and I'm not doing as well as I think I am. So to be able to sit here and hold myself up to this test, it's a blessing, really. So let's go ahead. We'll do this again, line by line. Purification is effected by thoughtful care, earnest meditation, and holy aspiration. So we have to contemplate these things that pop up for us. Purification doesn't just happen because we want to get rid of a behavior. If that was that easy, we wouldn't need all of this, right? We'd see the truth of the thing and then we'd just let it go. It takes contemplation, understanding, meditation upon it, and the desire, the aspiration to overcome it too. I feel like that last one's a really crucial point. They're all very important, don't get me wrong, but the willingness to let it go, to aspire to overcome it. Some people love just tearing apart their character defects, their shortcomings, their everything, but really have no desire to stop doing it, to change a selfish behavior. It serves them in some way still, so they decide to not do anything about it. That holy aspiration is crucial, or else you're just serving your own selfish curiosities. True strength and power and usefulness, important qualities, are born of self purification. For lower animal forces are not lost, but are transmuted into intellectual and spiritual energy. Crucial. We don't fight our demons, quote unquote, or our sin, quote unquote, all day, every day. We don't continue to just have these urges. We take this energy that gets devoted to it and we change it. We overturn it. We make it into something completely different. It's repurposed. That's what this transmutation's about, right? It's transformed into something intellectual and spiritual energy. All if we took all of the it's the understanding that if we take all of the energy we put into selfish and self-centered end or actions and thoughts and transform that into intellectual and spiritual energy, it'd be an immense change in your life. An incredible contrast to take a look at, really, at the end of the day. You know, it just would be. The pure life, pure in thought and deed, is a life of conservation of energy. So pure in thought and deed, not just stopping a behavior temporarily, not just, you know, having a good idea or consider having a selfless idea every once in a while. No, this is purification of thought and action. Is a life of conservation of energy because most of the stuff we get to stop doing is stuff that doesn't serve us any, or is stuff that was only serving us, is stuff that was really only contributing to building up of our egos and the destruction of ourselves. So when we start to practice this way of living, we actually save a whole lot more energy because we're not running around thinking about us and acting on us just to get what we want. Right? It's a much calmer, peaceful way of life. So therefore, conservation of energy. The impure life, even should the impurity not extend beyond thought, is a life of dissipation of energy. It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting to have impure thinking, to have negative thinking, to have selfish, self-centered thinking. I'm not talking about just impure. Just seems to have at least for me, it might be a me thing, but a sexual connotation. But we're not even talking about that. We're talking about anger, self-pity, delusional thinking, egotistical, prideful thinking, gluttonous thinking, things that really are damaging. And it's exhausting enough to have those thoughts and to be competing with those, but to have the actions and then to try to stop the behavior without changing the thoughts is a constant battle. In sobriety and in recovery, they call that white knuckling it because you just are thinking the same way, but you don't have your one behavior that always went along with it. So you're the exact same person. You just set down a drink and a drug, and it's a miserable lifestyle. And all it does is bring you to a point of exhaustion every single day. The pure man is more capable and therefore more fit to succeed in his plans and to accomplish his purpose than the impure, right? Because we're actually able to be directed. We actually have purpose. We're able to take appropriate actions without worrying about is it going to make us feel good? Because the appropriate thing isn't always the right thing to do. Or excuse me, the appropriate and right thing to do is not always the thing that feels the best. Screw that one up. Doing the right thing hasn't always felt good for me because I'm used to serving myself. I'm used to considering only myself, and I'm used to the immediate gratification of my decisions or at least a speedy one, if not immediate. So when you go through this purification process, when you take these honest looks, these deep looks at yourself, and just and are willing to throw away these old behaviors, you'll find yourself able to complete things more readily. You'll find yourself able to see tasks all the way through. I mean, just a simple example is I've jumped on and done a podcast every single day for 332 days now. I would have never been able to finish that previously. Never, right? To even get this far as an accomplishment. I know I'll finish it out, and I'll be grateful for it. Hasn't necessarily gone perfectly, but it's gone well enough. But it was because I was able to just take out the self-serving motives, to take out the selfishness, and do the right thing to honor the commitment I've made. And that's because of living spiritually. That is because of the growth that happens when you're willing to change. You have that holy aspiration to change your behaviors. Where the impure man fails, the pure man will step in and be victorious because he directs his energies with a calmer mind and greater definiteness and strength of purpose. So, this is a encouraging thought, because I'm not necessarily even applying this line of thinking to other people and then I get to swoop in and do it right. The old me is the impure man who would have failed. That's who I was. That's how I used to function. That was my go-to way of thinking, was the selfishness, the self-centeredness, the self-serving, and I would fail regularly. But through this path of spirituality and purification, I'm victorious in a lot of places I wasn't. I've been able to graduate college, go to college, regularly attend, and show up, even get good grades along the way. Like, these are small things to some, but they're huge accomplishments to someone who's always failed before because of my inability to actually follow through, my inability to accept commitments. So the impure me of old failed, but the pure man today is victorious because I do direct my energies with a calmer mind, greater definiteness, and strength of purpose. I have direction and ability to commit. Thank God for that. I never thought I'd be one that'd be able to say things like this. I thought I would always be that one person or the guy that can just never get it. It was a defeating thought, defeating belief. And because of this stuff, because of living this way of life, I've been able to change that, and thank God for it. So now this last line here: with the growth and purity, all the elements which constitute a strong and virtuous manhood are developed. Strength of character, integrity, the ability to stand on your own 2 feet with your own consciousness, with a connection to a God of your understanding, that source energy, that creator, that power that flows through all, giving you the strength to learn right from wrong, the strength to take the right action in all times, in all ways, at the right time, for the right reason. That's what this purification process actually does. It gives you strength of character, the ability to connect openly, It's a beautiful thing. So, all right. Well, there we go. That's today's reading. And I love James Allen. I really do. I love his reading, the way he writes, the way these meditations got put together. Lily did great assembling this after he passed away. And it just, every single one of these, just, I wish was labeled with what book it came out of. So I could go reference the chapter, see what was around it. What else was he bringing into this and as a direction, right? It was, to me, it's just a beautiful thing. So thank y'all for always joining me on this trip. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be looking forward till tomorrow. So until next time, thanks.